McCrory Stores was a chain of 5 and dime stores in the United States that opened in 1882 and closed in 1992. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified of my latest videos. Please hit that like button and leave a suggestion or a comment. You might see that in a future video. Thanks for watching, and now back to a regular scheduled program. John Graham McCrory opened his first store in Scottdale, Pennsylvania in 1882. John's father was killed in the Civil War, leaving him, his mother, and his sister with an 88-acre farm. Around the time McCrory turned 18, his father's 88-acre farm was sold for $1,200, which was divided 3 ways between his family. McCrory started his first 5 and dime store in Scottdale, near Greensburg, Pennsylvania, using his and his sister Jenny's savings along with some borrowed funds. The store primarily sold practical everyday pieces of merchandise, which kept customers coming back, but McCrory also had some higher priced items in the store's inventory. This was the humble beginning of the McCrory's 5 and dime store. The idea for this type of store appealed to the local residents, and through the hard work of his employees, McCrory was able to keep his expenses within limits, and by 1883, he was able to obtain enough capital to open a second store in DuBois, Clearfield County. This second store was started with little or to no debt, which subsequent operations were likely profitable because of this policy. Shortly after the opening of the second store in DuBois, McCrory disposed of the store in Scottdale. By 1885, the chain had 5 stores in Pennsylvania. McCrory was known for his thrifty nature, so much so that he legally dropped the E from his last name so he would not have to pay for extra letters on his store signs. Throughout the first 10 years of McCrory's operation, many stores were opened and closed. His game plan was to open 2 or 3 stores each year, as well as close out that many. His goal was to make money both times. His plan also called for having 8 to 12 stores in operation at all times. He took advantage of decreases from high to low prices on some lines of goods, but the time came when there was less of an opportunity to buy low and throw out bargains with profit. A desire to control more stores made it necessary to discontinue handling the higher priced goods, as the chance to lose by leakage on perishable and seasonable goods became greater each time an additional store was acquired. One of the early investors was Sebastian Spearing Kresge, who later founded the SS Kresge chain, which became Kmart. In 1899, Kresge traded his interest in the McCrory's Memphis, Tennessee store for McCrory's interest in the Detroit, Michigan store, giving him control there. In 1912, the J.G. McCrory Company was incorporated with Mr. McCrory serving as president. By 1913, there were 112 stores with an annual business revenue of $8 million. Throughout the 1910s and 1920s, the stores continued to grow. At the time of his death in 1923, there were 203 stores open for business. One of the firm's policies was to acquire locations whenever property could be found at a reasonable purchase price. In November of 1925, approximately 2/3 of its stores were leased, with the remainder owned by the subsidiary, the McCrory Realty Corporation. With 244 retail units in its chain, the company entered bankruptcy in January of 1933. The company was dissolved, but it was eventually re-established as McCrory Stores and resumed operations. During the 1930s and 40s, the stores typically sold shoes, clothing, housewares, fabrics, penny candy, toys, cosmetics, and often included a lunch counter or snack bar. They also exclusively sold Oriole Records, one of the most popular dime store labels from 1921 to 1938. In 1936, the Morrow brothers, under the United Stores Corporation, bought the debentures and preferred stock of both McCrory and its competitor, McClelland Stores. In 1959, McCrory and McClellan, 37% owned by United, effected a merger. That same year, H.L. Green Company acquired United Stores Corporation. H.L. Green Company dated back to 1932 when Harold L. Green acquired 5 retail companies in the limited price field. With its 1959 McCrory-McClellan Green acquisition, United had control over 850 stores. Meshullam Rickless appeared on the scene in 1960 when he acquired a significant amount of stock of United Stores. In 1961, the financier bought full control of the H.L. Green Company, temporarily taking over as president of McCrory Corporation. Rickless controlled McCrory's through the Rapid American Holding Company. Rickless's famed sleight of hand, shifting assets between notable brand name, successful companies, and holding companies is best exemplified by his handling of the McCrory Stores, driving the brand name into bankruptcy while keeping the assets. Among the retailers controlled by McCrory's at the time were Best & Company, Lerner Shops, and S. Klein. The company continued to thrive and grow during the 1960s and 1970s. McCrory Stores purchased the 439-unit J.J. Newberry Company in 1972. It operated Newberry as a separate division and continued to open stores under the Newberry name. By 1976, there were 883 McCrory stores. Later that year, McCrory further expanded by taking over the leases on 15 locations of the beleaguered W.T. Grant Company. Continued expansion included the takeover of 8 variety stores from Neisner Brothers in 1980 and the acquisition of 46 S.H. Kress and V.J. Elmore stores from the S.H. Kress Company in 1989. As the economic expansion of the 1980s progressed, so did the successes of McCrory. They continued to expand and remodel stores as volume and profits grew exponentially. McCrory purchased the Oklahoma-based TG&Y discount store chain in 1985. This proved to be a difficult transition for the company as the discount chain was not a natural fit for McCrory. Many of the stores were beyond the typical 10 to 15,000 square foot footprint that the company operated in, and the merchandise mix was very different. The TG&Y stores were not profitable and drained McCrory of valuable assets. Many of the TG&Y stores were converted to the Bargain Time banner that McCrory operated and were closed as the 1980s came to an end. In 1987, McCrory Stores purchased the 76 remaining Kresge and Jupiter stores from the Kmart Corporation, which had long given up the variety stores division, reuniting the companies. All stores were converted to McCrory's banner. In 1989, McCrory Stores purchased the G.C. Murphy Company from Ames Stores. The sale included the remaining G.C. Murphy stores and Bargain World stores as well. In 1989, 1,300 stores were operated by the McCrory Company. However, as the decade turned, its fortunes decreased, and by 1992, it filed for bankruptcy. The changing retail landscape, including the migrating of shoppers from the inner cities to the influx of superstores such as Target and Walmart, sealed the fate of the once mighty 5 and dime stores. Several rounds of store closures followed, with the one biggest coming in 1997 when McCrory's shuttered 300 of its last 460 stores. The company also converted some stores to their Dollar Zone format of dollar store, but these closed in early 2002. In December of 2001, McCrory Stores announced that the remaining McCrory's, TG&Y, G.C. Murphy, and the J.J. Newberry stores it was operating would begin liquidating, and in February of 2002, the company ceased operation. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you just watched my video, thanks for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions.